This video covers Python while loops. Okay, so we've already had a look at a for loop, and what we're going to do is just have a look at while loops and what they are. So loops are used an awful lot in programming. Loops are used when you want to repeat something again and again, and you want to keep repeating it until you decide that you don't want to do it anymore. So a kind of classic one is maybe using an application or using a game, and you want to continually play that game or use that application until you decide you don't want to do it anymore. So a while loop is the thing that you would use to do that. So in programming that happens an awful lot as well. We use a while loop to carry out the same task again and again and again. An example of it could be in everyday life. While I'm hungry, I will eat. While walking, I will move one leg in front of the other. While I don't understand my classwork, I'll study. Or, if you know what Groundhog Day is, while I don't learn the life lesson, I will relive Groundhog Day. So with Python, what we do is we're going to check the loop. We're going to check the condition at the very start of the while loop. And then, if depending on what the value is of the condition, we'll either enter the loop or not. Okay, so it's kind of like an if. The big difference really is that an if will not repeat itself, whereas the while loop will. The while loop will just continually go round and round and round until you enter something that makes it exit the loop. So it's common to set up a start value for a variable. It's known as initializing it, and usually we do that so that the variable has got a start value and we know that it's going to go into the loop at least once. Okay, looking at the algorithm for it, so this is a problem to ask for number 1 and then stop when that number is given. So the algorithm would be, while number is not 1, ask for a number. So I'm just going to show you some basic code for this. So I start it the same way I normally do. I've got author, date, and then what the program is about. So I'm setting up choice as the variable, excuse me, and I'm setting it to 0. So I'm giving it a start value of 0. So I'm saying while choice is not equal to 1, choice is 0, because I've set it as 0, so it's not equal to 1, so it will go in the loop. So it prints out we are inside the while loop. This while loop will continue to do the same thing again and again. The way to stop the loop is to enter the value 1. Any other value will cause the loop to continue, and then we have got input. So remember, input is this keyword that lets us get input from the user. So we're reading in whatever the user is typed. We're casting it, we're giving it a variable type of int automatically when the number is read in, and we're storing it inside choice. So we're reading in whatever the user has typed in, comes back up to the start of the while loop, and it's checking to see whether or not the user has typed in the value 1. So while the value is not equal to 1, so if they type 1 in here, we automatically come out the while loop, and that's the program over. If they've typed anything else, what happens is it goes into the while loop again. It will write out we're inside the while loop, going to do things again and again. The way to stop is to enter the value 1. Any other value will cause the loop to continue, and then we prompt the user to enter a value. We read it in using this keyword input, and we're automatically casting it as an integer. So we're reading it in, casting it as an integer, and we're storing it inside choice. Then we just jump back up to the top of the while loop again, and while choice is not equal 1, so if they choose 1 at this point, we just jump out of the loop. You'll notice, like the for loop, what we have got here is underneath the while condition, the code is indented. So the code is indented so that Python knows that all of this is related to this while loop. So when we want to come out of the while loop, if we wanted code after that, we would have to move the code to the start of the line. And then Python would know that we were doing something else outside the loop. So this is an example of the code running. So it just runs again and again and again and again until number 1 is pressed, and then as you can see, it just stops. So what we're going to do is have a look at the ATM example that we've used before, and we're going to use clear and pause to pause information on the screen. So this example we've looked at before, it's just the simple banking ATM example, but apart from the while loop, what I'm also going to add is a new module. So I'm going to import OS. I'm going to import OS because I want the ability to clear the screen. Because sometimes when you are displaying menus, you do whatever the person wants to do with the menu, and then after they've finished with it, you go back and you display the menu at the top of the screen. So this is what this will allow me to do. By clearing the screen, it will allow me to just display things at the top of the screen again. We also want to give the facility to pause the contents of the screen for a moment so the person can see the result before it gets cleared. So we're going to import OS. OS was written by someone and it has been shared inside the library modules, and you can import it and you can access operating system facilities like clear. So having a look at the code. So I start off the same way, author, date, import OS, because I want to import the feature that allows me to clear the screen. I'm setting the balance for £800 and I'm setting the overdraft at 0. And I'm given a choice. I'm given choice a start value of 0. I'm only doing that so that I know that it will go into this menu at least once. It's known as initializing variables. So while choice is not equal to 5, and then I have got my banking app menu. So welcome to the banking app. Number 1, display balance. Number 2, add funds. Number 3, withdraw funds. Number 4, overdraft available. Number 5, exit. So 5 is the exit. So what I'm saying is while they've not chosen exit, we prompt them. So we've got the keyword input that gets input from the user, and we're asking them, please choose an option 1 to 5 from this. Then we read it in, we automatically cast it as an integer, and then we store it inside choice. I'll just go on to the next line. Then we have got our whole series of if statements and elif. So if they choose number 1, we print out the balance. So the balance is balance. Balance was set up at the top of the screen. If they choose option 2, we find out how much they want to deposit. So we use the keyword input to get input from the user. We say please enter deposit amount, take it in, and then we store it as a float. So that's a number with a decimal point, and we store it inside add. So our new balance is going to be equal to the old balance plus add. So that would be whatever has been deposited. And when we have got elif choice 3, So we're doing a similar thing. This time we have got the keyword input and we are going to read something in from the user. So please enter withdraw amount. We're taking it in and automatically casting it or giving it the variable type of float. So float is just a number with a decimal point. And we're going to store it inside sub. So the new balance is equal to the old balance minus sub. And then we're just going to write it out to the screen. If they choose option 4 just displays the overdraft. So say your overdraft is, it'll be 0 because that's what it's been set as. If they choose option 5, we're just going to print out goodbye. And then we have a catch all else at the bottom. The catch all else at the bottom will just print out you have entered a wrong choice. And then we come down here. So after our if elif, we want to hold the information on the screen for a little while. So we've got input, please press enter key to continue. So it holds information on the screen for a while. They press the enter key and then the screen is then cleared and we start displaying the menu again. Another example is a calculator menu example. So in this one I've done a similar thing. Again, I've got author and date and it's just an example of while. Again, I've got choice equals 0. I'm only doing that so that I know for sure that it will go in the while loop at least once. Okay, so I've got while choice is not equal to 5. I'm printing out calculator, 1 for add, 2 subtract, 3 multiply, 4 divide, and 5 exit. So now I'm reading in the user's choice. So please enter selection, reading in whatever they have entered, and we're automatically casting that, making that an integer, a whole number, and sticking it inside choice. So again, I've got if choice is equal 1, we get number 1. So we've got our keyword input. So we're reading from the user, please enter first number, making it an integer, storing it in num1, and then again I've got int input. So I've got input which will get user information. It takes it in, we're casting it or making it an integer, and we're storing it inside num2. Then we print out the result. This is addition, so it's just result is num1 plus num2. If the person then decides they want to do choice 2 instead, if they've chosen choice 2, we do the same thing. We get number 1 and number 2. Once we've got the two numbers, we subtract them from each other. You'll notice there's a bit of repetition here, so I'm duplicating code. We'll look later on at how to get around this duplication. So we have got number 1 and number 2 being read in, and then we're writing out the subtraction result, num1, num2. And then if they've chosen option 3, it's a multiplication. Again, I'm getting num1 and num2 in from the user. And then I'm saying result is num1 times num2. And then I have got if the choice is equal to 4. So I'm reading in num1 and num2. And because it's division, I'm saying the result is num1 divide num2. If they choose option 5 is the exit of the code. So we just print out goodbye. And then we've got a catch all at the end, the else, and print out you have entered an incorrect value. Okay, so just move on. So this time what I'm going to do is do the magic number exercise that we've seen before. Again, so I'm taking input random. The min equals 1 and the max equals 10. So for the magic number, I have random. So it tells it to go to this random number module that's available that we've imported. Dot randint, use the function inside random. And here's the minimum number I want, and here's the maximum number I want. And then generate a random number for me. So it generates a random number between 1 and 10, sticks inside magic. Then we've got the while loop. So I've got while quit is not equal to no, n. Print, this is a magic number again. Enter a number between 1 and 10. You get the guess coming in from the user. Using this keyword input, we read in the guess, we take it in. So if the guess, and this time I'm casting guess at this particular point. So if int guess equals magic, print, well done, you guessed the magic number. Else, better luck next time. So we've got if and else, and then down the bottom we've got quit equals input. So we're going to read from the user again. Do you want to keep playing Y or N? So if they say N, that would be for no. Come back up. So while quit is not equal to no, we would go in here. When quit is equal to no, we just jump straight out of that while loop and the game ends. So practice each of these different exercises that are there. Make sure you understand what's going on. If there's anything that you want to ask me in class or message me on Teams, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, once you've done that and you feel okay with it, move on to the exercises on Canvas.